welcome everybody. Thanks for joining us on a Sunday. It's been a busy weekend already for a lot of us and different events. And so we appreciate you taking the time to join us today. And we have some great speakers. I just saw Victoria came on, so I think we've got everybody here ready to go. So first we'll do some Nevada Now business. We have our elections to take care of and some events to announce. So right now, I always say I'm Jerry Burton, Nevada Now president. We're going to be changing it up a bit, and we'll tell you about that in a minute. I also wanted to mention our positive thoughts are going out to our friend Annette Magnus and her husband Nick. They're fine, but they've got COVID, and that is one of the ones who from the beginning wore 2 masks, triple vaxxed, and Nick as well, and they've caught COVID and have been, home and not hospitalized, but she's pretty miserable. So I'm thinking of our friends who've done everything right, and we're doing our best here, and I hope everybody's staying healthy and safe, and we're all learning how to live in this. So we're thinking them both today, and our other friends who have been going through this, all of us through this 2 years of pandemic. It feels like somebody said we lost a year, and I think we've lost 2 now. So I'm just glad we've been able to have our programs and see each other and be supportive of each other. So always reach out if we can help with anything. So usually I introduce the board, but we're going to have our board elections today. We're fortunate to have some really great people joining our board, and you've met a lot of them in other programs, but Connie Monk, a former assemblywoman and now president of the Women's Democratic Club, is going to be helping us today with our elections. So board members are elected by a majority of the members. So to be a Nevada Now member, you pay dues. And so if you're a Nevada Now member, you can vote today. Connie's going to introduce the slate. Did I send that to you, Connie, or do you need me to? Yes. And it was sent out to our members 30 days in advance per the bylaws. And she'll also be calling for additional nominations from the floor. And so, Connie, if you want to, and then Sue said she'd kind of help if you needed anything. So,
sure. So I'm going to go ahead and, per the bylaws, read the prospective 2022 officers for Executive Director, Programs Coalition Coordinator, Jerry Burton, Executive Director, Legislative, PAT Coordinator, Sue Birch, Director, Membership Volunteer Coordinator, Eva Love, Director, Technology and Media, Madalena Robertson, Director, Fundraiser, Sarah Evans, Director, Outreach, Michelle Maese, Secretary, Tricia Mathner, Treasurer, Lenore N. Briley.
All right, and I must have sent you the old one because we, for some reason, left Laura out before. So Director of Actions is Laura Campbell.
I'll write that down, Laura Campbell. And now I'm going to ask if there's any nominations from the floor. If there are, you can unmute yourself. Since I don't see any nominations from the floor, do I have a motion from the floor? I want to accept the entire slate as I've just read it. Do I have a motion for that?
You know what? I'll move to accept the slate.
Thanks, Ellen. Do I have a second in favor of that?
This is Jody. I'll move to second.
Thanks, Jody. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All of you unmuted.
Aye. Aye.
All opposed, say nay. No opposed. It looks like the slate is passed. Congratulations, ladies.
Thanks, everybody. And thank you, Connie, for officiating.
You're welcome.
We appreciate you. And I was going to introduce our students from the Loud Girls Club, but I don't think either one of them could make it today. So we usually introduce Maya Strope and Morgan Renfro from the Loud Girls Club. They have group at West Career and Technical Academy in Las Vegas, and they have like weekly programs that Sue and I have been helping them put together. And they're juniors, and it's just wonderful seeing these young women doing great things. We've had a lot of fun with it, haven't we, Sue?
Yeah, but I think we have Olivia here. Olivia,
yeah.
right?
But not from the Loud Girls Club, no.
Oh, okay.
So we also want to tell you about our committees. We had a board meeting, and we've put together 3 committees that will be working throughout the 2022. The first one is constitutional equality, and that's going to cover the federal ERA, the state ERA, because Nevada is going to have the ERA on the ballot this year, and also LGBTQ equality issues. That committee is the first one. The second committee is reproductive rights and justice. So the constitutional equality, I'm going to be the chair, because everybody knows the ERA is my passion. Laura Campbell and Sarah Evans will be joining me from the board on that one. Laura, you will hear often, because she's going to be helping me with actions on all of our ideas we have and all of our issues. The reproductive rights and justice, Madalena Robertson is chair. Lenoring Briley, Laura Campbell, I'll be on it as well, because we're doing the Committee for Menstrual Equity and Dignity for Incarcerated Women. And so if you're interested in any of these, let us know. The Menstrual Equity, the Dignity for Incarcerated Women, we're meeting on Saturday. We've been doing it monthly. It's probably going to start being a little sooner, a little more often, because we're working with formerly incarcerated women and what they need in prisons, and moving from what we've been working before was menstrual equity in schools, and working with Samantha Glover, which we will continue to do when she gets back next month from DC, but working now on prisons and menstrual equity. So if that's something you're interested in, we'd love to have you join us. And then the Racial and Economic Justice Committee, Sue Birch is going to be the chair of that. Michelle Maese, Lindsay Ray's, Nevada Now member, Laura Campbell, and Tricia Methner are on that committee. And so if you're interested in that, it's going to be a big issue in Nevada, even though we're pretty protected with reproductive justice. And I'm sorry, I'm thinking about the other one. Reproductive justice we're protected on, but we certainly need to work on the racial and economic justice. And that's, so those are our 3 core issues we'll be working on, as well as our Nevada Now PAC. So anything you're interested in, we could use your help. Contact me, email info@nevadanow.org. We'll be having like monthly meetings that we'll be announcing for these committees. And out of the committees will come the actions that we'll be working on, and our programs for speakers. And so we hope to be really active in that way, and even more than we were last year, which was quite a bit. So action and events. We just did on Friday, we attended the Storming Caesar's Palace watch party for a film that has been made by Hazel Garland Pooler. It's a story of Ruby Duncan and what the women in Las Vegas did to work on the anti-poverty movement. Very timely with the pandemic and how this is affecting women. This movie really resonated with us, and Sue and I were able to watch it with a few other organizations, ACLU, some just great groups, make it work. And we were really excited because last night we got to meet Ruby Duncan. She attended the women's demo event, and there she was, and we got pictures with her and told her we were big fans. And so we'll be working to help promote that film in March. I think they're going to try to have a preview, or I think it's going to premiere, and then it's also going to be in PBS the next year. So that's going to be a piece that we're going to be involved in. Tomorrow is the Martin Luther King Jr.'s parade. The theme is Living the Dream, Setting New Standards. And Sue and I are going to be marching with Pat Spearman. They're meeting at 9 o'clock. Ozzie Fumo is also looking for people to walk with him. I know I've seen one from Susie Lee and Stephen Horsford. We're meeting at 9 a.m. at 4th and Gas. And I just found out that Pat has the 7A position, Sue. So we'll figure out where that's at, but apparently it's kind of high up and close up in the front. So a good location. I'll be carrying my ERA tambourine that's behind my head that Zoe made us. Zoe has one and Pat Spearman has one. So that will be fun. So you'll hear us coming, right? So then another action we have planned is January 27th is the 2-year anniversary of Virginia ratifying the Equal Rights Amendment. And that was the 38th state needed, but it's stuck. So it's passed. Congress has removed the deadline, but we're waiting for the Senate. We're waiting for the archivist to publish it. It's just, there's lots of things that need to be done. We'll be bringing attention to that on the 27th. We're going to stand outside the federal building, probably about 2:00. And I've talked to our senators to have some representation. Maybe they'll come send an aide or whatever and tell us how our U.S. senators are going to start helping. If you don't follow it like I do, our Attorney General, Aaron Ford, is amazing. He's been on filing cases against the archivist to get this put through, and we want our senators to represent us like he has been doing. Nevada worked really hard to ratify, and we've got a lot of activists who've been doing this since the 80s. We're tired of waiting. And frankly, not to go on about it, but we waited a year. We were told Biden was going to do this as soon as he got in, but times are tough and there's a pandemic. Well, it's been a year. So now we need to start putting some pressure, and we're going to ask our senators to help us like Aaron Ford has been doing. So anyway, if you want to join us on the 27th, we're going to be outside and having, now signs and ERA signs, and we'll be virtual as well. So I'll put a Facebook event together if you want to just join us virtually. And they're also going to be doing it in DC. So now the ERA Coalition and the Feminist Majority are with other groups are doing something outside in DC as well. So and you can watch that virtually. And I'll post that. If you want a link to it, I can send it to you. Because I'll be joining them virtually, and then we'll be doing it in person ourselves. So that is that stuff. I'll put some links in the chat too if you want to be able. I've got those there too. So we're going to be sending out our updated bylaws. So that's such exciting stuff. It's long in coming and updating these bylaws. I don't know when the last time it was done, but it's been a long time. So Sue and I worked on them. We'll send them out for membership to look at by email, and it'll be on the website. And then next meeting, we'll have a vote on them to get them approved. So watch for that exciting email. I promised Michelle Maese that I would let you know about something that Grace, Executive Director at SEIU, is asking for help. There, she said, I'm going to share an opportunity to help thousands of people that have been affected by a powerful and catastrophic super typhoon Odette that hit the Philippines right after Christmas. Their desperate need for food and clean water for survivors. According to the United Nations Population Fund, women and girls become even more vulnerable to sex exploitation, human trafficking, and gender-based violence after natural calamities such as Typhoon Odette. So they're asking for our help, and I'll post a GoFundMe link to help people in the Philippines. So we will have that information. So if you attended our December holiday meeting, we've been highlighting young activists in the community and organizations that work with them. So the people today are young people, and not that you're not young, Kate, but Kate works with young people. We were laughing about it when we talked. I've met with each of them and just had some wonderful conversations. I can't wait for you to meet them as well. And this is going to be something ongoing throughout our meetings throughout the year. If you know of a young activist or you know of people who are working with young people, we want to hear about it. We want to promote it. And so, help us out if you know somebody comes to mind. And so I think we'll start off with Sarah Rojas. She is I'm going to let you tell us more, Sarah, but with Planned Parenthood of Rocky Mountains, she's a campaign organizer. And we know that with what's happening with Roe, when I was at a Planned Parenthood event the other day, they said it's most likely that Roe will be some form of overturn, and Nevada's pretty safe, but we're a safe haven. So people will be coming here to get services. And so Sarah has talked about joining us on our Dignity for Incarcerated Women Committee, something that she's interested in. So thank you, Sarah, for joining us, and we look forward to getting to know you.
Thank you so much for having me, Jerry, and hello to everybody else. It's so nice to meet you. My name is Sarah Rojas. I'm a Raíz organizer with Planned Parenthood of the Rocky Mountains. I'm also here with my co-organizer, Eliana Diaz. She's with the Promotoras de Salud, part of Planned Parenthood of the Rocky Mountains as well. So I got my start organizing with the 2020 coordinated campaign, and I'm mostly here to talk about Nevada's history of protecting abortion access, thanks to organizers like you and I. So Nevada has a long history of protecting abortion access. In the 90s, Nevada voters overwhelmingly decided to protect the right in Nevada statute, cementing protections of abortion rights at the state level. In 2019, the Nevada legislature passed the Trust Nevada Women Act, a piece of proactive abortion legislation that removed outdated criminal penalties for abortion. In addition, that same year, the legislature reaffirmed the state's commitment to funding accessible reproductive health care by funding the state's family planning grant program with $6 million over the Bennium. Not only this, but Governor Sisolak protected those crucial healthcare funds in the wake of the COVID-19 pandemic. So as we prepare for the Supreme Court to decide the Dobbs versus Jackson Women's Health Organization case, we continue to deal with the impacts of the courts, allowing the deeply unconstitutional 6-week abortion ban to stand while it works its way through the courts. We are reminded of the pivotal role Nevada and other safe haven states play continuing to protect and provide this vital care for patients. So now that all that was said, I'll pass it on to my co-organizer, Eliana, and she's going to talk a little more about what we offer.
Hi, everybody. It's a pleasure to be here. I'm outside at the park right now. I'm at the skate park. I like to roller skate. Fun fact about me. But career-wise, I'm a promotora de salud, which is Spanish for community health worker. And I have been working with Planned Parenthood of the Rocky Mountains for 5 years now. And so our promotores program started in 2010. And basically, our effort was to reach out to the Latino community here in Las Vegas to ensure that regardless of immigration status or status, that everybody had access to reproductive health care. And so what we offer is a coupon of $150 to basically anybody who goes to a center here in Las Vegas. So we have 2 centers, one in Vegas Valley and Charleston, and another one on the east side, which is on Flamingo and Pecos McLeod. And so this coupon of $150 can be used for any of the services that we offered in our 2 health centers, whether that be a pap smear, birth control, STI testing, or also an abortion if needed. And so if a service is more than $150, we do ask patients to take a plática or like a talk. And basically that's just like a class where they learn more about anatomy, reproductive health anatomy, or STIs, consent, healthy relationships, and you know, regardless if they use a coupon or not, people can take these classes. They're completely free. And so with every class that somebody takes, we can offer them another $150 coupon. And so essentially somebody's service can be free. And we do this because, you know, we don't know, you know, whether someone has the capability to afford services or not, especially because they've been going up because of this pandemic. And so we want to make sure that our communities are being supported financially in being able to access our services. And so, you know, I'm here to support you all and to be, you know, a collaborator and a community partner into ensuring that our community is safe and can get through, you know, this pandemic that we are living through.
And Sarah, can you let us know how people contact you and get more information? And
Oh yeah, definitely. Ileana and I will put both of our emails in the chat. So we actually are throwing a COVID-19 resource fair March 5th. It's going to be at the East Las Vegas Community Center. So I will put my email in the chat, and then if you're interested, we have a Google form already made. Just let me know, and I'll also email you the Google form, Jerry, so that you have that.
Yes, please come to our event. Y'all are more than free to come and table. Just fill out that Google form, and we would love to have you all there. We'll make sure to feed you. We just ask that vendors have someone who is Spanish speaking, since we are, targeting the Latino community, and also because the East Las Vegas Community Center is located in a zip code that is predominantly Latino, predominantly Black folks. And so we want to make sure that we have representation at our event.
and tell us the date again on that.
Yes, that's March 5th.
March 5th.
It'll be March 5th from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. And then we just ask vendors to be there, an hour, 45 minutes earlier to set up. Yes,
Great.
Please feel free to come.
Great. Thanks so much. Let me go back to my notes here. That sounds great. I can't wait to get to see you in person. So next we have Victoria Flores. She has the Solidarity Fridge, and Sean Navarro from DSA has been singing her praises, and I wanted to get to know you and hear about your community pantry and your community work, and thank you for joining us.
Hi, thank you so much, Jerry. Hello, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here. I want to first start off by saying thank you for sharing the space, and I really appreciate all the work you guys do, your diligence, and fighting for women's rights. So I wanted to acknowledge that. I will be sharing my scene and then letting you know a little bit about my story and how this came about and what we do. So let's see. All right, can you guys still hear me? Good. All right, perfect. So my name is Victoria. I am the organizer of the Solidarity Fridge here in Southern Paiute, also known as Las Vegas. I started this initiative to address food apartheid in our marginalized communities. And as someone who grew up in a food insecure home, I wanted to have a resource for our neighbors to provide them with healthy alternatives. As you know, the food injustice that is happening in our underserved neighbors is out of control. There are not the same resources in the more affluent neighborhoods as there are here. There are way more liquor stores, gambling centers, and fast food restaurants than there are places to get fresh food, and that's a problem. So let's get started by talking about food waste. Each year, 100 million pounds of food is wasted in the United States. That equates to 130 million meals and more than 408 billion food thrown away each year. Shockingly, nearly 40% of all food in America is wasted. So when we waste food, not only are we, of course, wasting the food, but also the energy, the production, the distribution from farmers and packagers and shippers. America has more than enough food to feed everyone, but it's a matter of distribution. So each year, billions of pounds go to the landfills and create methane gases, so it affects our environment. There are many reasons for food waste, obviously thrown out from homes, stores, restaurants. And one of my not so favorite ones is the aesthetic of certain foods. Like if grocery stores don't find them aesthetically pleasing, they do get tossed out. So let's see, go to the next slide. So we're going to talk about food insecurity. What is food insecurity? It is defined as a lack of consistent access to food for every person in your household who is able to live an active, healthy life. This can be a temporary situation for a household, or it can last a lifetime. Food insecurity is one way we can measure how people cannot afford food. What causes food insecurity? It could be anything from people struggling to meet their basic needs, especially after like a layoff from work, unexpected car expenses, and of course, the pandemic that we're currently going through. So also the effects of food insecurity can have a wide impact depending on each individual circumstance, serious health conditions, complications. Even when people are facing hunger, we are forced to choose between spending money for food, medical care, and it's really damaging to our children's ability to learn and grow. More than 38 million people, including 12 million children, face food insecurity in the United States. And what does it look like in our city? According to the feedingnevada.org, 1 out of 4 children live in food insecure households. Nevada is ranked 8th amongst states in the highest projected overall food insecurity rates for 2021. Nevada is also projected to have the nation's 5th highest percentage of child living in a food insecure household by the end of 2021. And they haven't received the numbers from last year yet, but it's pretty astounding. Last year, more than 20% of households in Clark County, or approximately 45,000 residents, were food insecure. We're aware of many social issues exacerbated by the pandemic, but our city has struggled with the problem of food insecurity prior to the pandemic. So pre-pandemic numbers, there were more than 27,000 Las Vegas residents.
Oops, you're kind of freezing.
That didn't know where the next meal would come from. Of 40s in food insecurity rates. Oh, I'm sorry, it's freezing?
It was, but I can hear you now.
Okay. The disparities in food insecurity rates between minority and white households across the valley are stark. 23% of white households versus 43% of non-white households, and 55% of non-white Hispanic households. So with that being said, how do we do better? That's where community fridges come in. Community fridges are a free cooperative resource meant to address food insecurity. It's a mutual aid initiative that's reciprocal exchange of resources and services. It's basically the community taking care of each other and taking on their responsibility. People offering help, which could be resources, food, money, skills, and it operates under the notion that everyone has something to contribute and everyone has something they need. What is the Solidarity Fridge? The Solidarity Fridge is a community food and pantry located in East Las Vegas, which is open to the public 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Everyone can give and everyone can receive. It can be accessed by anyone and everyone who wants to share or pick up food and supplies. We seek to provide accessibility for all and provide access to clean, nutritious, healthy food, and we believe it's a human right. There is no need to provide any IDs, documentation, or an explanation to use the fridge. There's no policing on how much food is also taken. There's no questions, no barriers, no judgment. It's literally just our community being there for one another and letting our neighbors know that they are not alone. I also like to tell people that it's about seeing the humanity and listening to the needs of our people and showing compassion and dignity. Even if it's just this fridge or this community, it's something, and we all make a difference and have something to contribute. We will continue to expand and offer solidarity-based support in which communities unite against a common struggle rather than leaving our neighbors to fend for themselves. A part of our expansion and liberation is education. We now have a little library as well outside of our pantry. So we have the fridge, the pantry, and the little library. And so soon we want to incorporate a community garden alongside it. We do weekly food preps. The items that can be donated to the fridge are dry goods, fresh produce, fresh fruit. We also have a section for pet food, hygiene products, feminine products. And then we do accept prepared meals as long as it's labeled. The fridge does have a high demand and frequent users, so it can empty out in a matter of days. Like we will fill the fridge and then it's emptied out within the next 2 days. So here's our library. And then we have a few pictures here of the donations we receive, our weekly meal preps, which we actually prepare for our unhoused neighbors to show solidarity. And then we do food drives and land cleanups to tend to the land and care for our neighborhood. We're working on many community events to connect and get people engaged and to provide resources. So ways to help. How can you help? We are the community. This is our community. You can help by spreading the word, sharing this message of what we do. You can gather surplus food that you're not going to use, or get in touch with local farmers, restaurant, business owners to see if they have anything that they can donate that would otherwise go to waste. You can take food from the fridge, even when you're visiting. You know, everyone's welcome to take something or leave something. Also, volunteering your time to support our initiative. Like I said, we do weekly food preps. We have community events, and also we have people that clean and stock the fridge that's needed, and fundraising. If you have any fundraising ideas, we always are in need of money, and it costs for the electricity bill, as you can imagine. So if you have any plans on fundraising, or if you want to promote our initiative locally and develop activities and ideas, we're open to it. We tell people that this is the people's fridge, this is for the community, by the community. And like I said, we accept any dry goods, fresh fruit. We're in constant need of water. I also want to let you guys know that there's this misconception that people that use the fridge are just unhoused people, and that's not the case. They're our neighbors. They're working class. They are students. And it's just showing solidarity and letting people know that they're not alone and we're here for them. So you can follow us on Instagram, on Twitter. Here is the address if you would like to contribute and provide donations. Like I said, there's a high turnaround, so if you would share this, that would be great. We started this initiative about 8 months ago, and we've been going strong. The fridge is empty at one point, and then someone will come and fill it, and it's really a community-based effort, and I'm really excited that you guys are finding out about this if you don't already know. So thank you for sharing your space again, and please share because we need all the help we can get. And like I said, we're the community, and we need to be there for each other. So thank you.
Well, that's just amazing. Thank you so much for letting us know. And I think Sean's been putting some things in the chat on how to follow you on Twitter, and we'll definitely post some information about it. And I'll be donating and find out what you need me to do to help. I love what you're doing.
Thank you.
So it kind of ties in with what Olivia is doing, I thought, don't you think, Olivia? But some of the conversations we've had. So Olivia Burns is, she's with All In Clark County, works on sustainability and climate action. I know she's working with Smith's on trying to do their food donations. And so Olivia, would like to hear what you're working on.
Hi, everybody. Nice to meet you. I'll just tell you a little bit about the Zero Hunger, Zero Waste program I run at Smith. That's not what I'm here to talk to you about today. I'm talking about All in Clark County. But with Smith, I noticed, Victoria said, that grocery stores throw a lot away. And even if it's still edible, they will throw it away. So I go through the trash and I donate all the edible products. Otherwise, that would have been thrown away. And we donate it to animal organizations. And so that's just what I do. So if you know anyone who, you just reach out to your local grocery stores, the one closest to you, and they will let you pick up the food. You'd have to do it like 5:30 in the morning. I do it every morning. I go through the trash. So if maybe you could volunteer for the Solidarity Fridge and go to a grocery store and just ask them to pick up their food scraps, they will let you do that. So that's with that. And then I will also share my screen. One second. All right. Well, so hey, everybody. My name is Olivia Burns. Thanks for tuning in today. It's great to see everybody and meet you all. I'm a local here in Las Vegas. I'm a student. I'm going for my master's degree in science. I'm studying biomimicry, which is sustainable designs inspired by nature. A little fun fact, I like plants and gardening. I'm also an avid movie watcher. I've been developing my sense of community and learning about the different perspectives and ideas and cultures here in Southern Nevada. And I've been sharing that love and passion I have with sustainability with our community members. I'm an education engagement member, a part of All in Clark County. And All in Clark County is an initiative to address climate change here and make our communities more sustainable and resilient for all who live here and also our visitors. It's a smart, bold, and inclusive approach to creating a sustainable community for the well-being and prosperity for today and future generations. I'm going to tell you a little bit why you should go all in and just more about our plan. So here in Clark County, we've already begun to feel the impacts of a changing climate. Increasing greenhouse gas emissions create two changes in climate conditions in Clark County. One being higher temperatures and two, more extreme precipitation and storms. These changes lead to climate hazards like extreme heat, drought, flooding, wildfires, and they impact our local economy, infrastructure, and the health and well-being of ourselves and our family. Today's data shows that our climate is already changing. We're experiencing those hazards I just mentioned, and we want to plan our community to be safe and resilient for years to come, despite these challenges from our changing climate. So All In has a vision for Clark County that is both sustainable and resilient. Sustainability is a balancing act between a healthy environment, how well our community members are doing, and how strong our local economy is. Resiliency is about being adaptable so that we can still succeed as individuals and as a community, even as the climate changes around us. Adapting to these impacts from climate change we feel today and expect in the future will help prepare our communities. With this pair of visions for the future in mind, All in Clark County is our roadmap forward. So we have 3 comprehensive planning processes. One is the regional greenhouse gas emissions inventory, which identifies where greenhouse gases are being emitted in our community. And it points us towards the most necessary and meaningful areas to reduce our carbon footprint. The climate vulnerability assessment is the second part of the process. This assessment tells us which systems like infrastructure, social, economic, natural are most affected by climate hazards. Example is like how drought affects our ability to provide drinking water. And the Community Sustainability and Climate Action Plan will use the information from the first 2 projects to develop a plan with actions to address climate change. The county is serious about climate action and is leading by example, building off what the county has already accomplished. They are working to reduce energy and water use in buildings and facilities, transitioning the county fleet to low-emission vehicles, and much more. The county plan includes actions that will help the county reduce emissions and prepare government operations for climate impacts. Clark County is looking at a potential action lens through 4 guiding principles: greenhouse gas reductions, resilience, transparency, equity. Considering these potential actions based on the principles will help get the largest benefit from climate and sustainability initiatives across all aspects of our community. Now, my favorite part is the community plan, which is for everyone in Clark County. This includes residents and businesses in incorporated and unincorporated areas. But first, the 2 ways Clark County can address climate change is mitigation, reducing emissions and drive climate change. That drives climate change, and adaptation, getting ready for the changes that we know to expect and for those that we don't expect. Both types of these strategies are necessary to make our community safe and prepared for the future. Here you can see how the Clark County's county-wide greenhouse gas emissions, based on 2019 data, which is our baseline year, it tells us where our actions for community plans need to focus, which is buildings, because they're the largest source of emissions for our community and represent our biggest opportunity to reduce emissions, and then transportation, which is the second significant source of emissions. The community plan focuses on 6 key areas that are important for a sustainable and resilient future in Clark County. Many are in response to the largest sources of our greenhouse gases, but others relate to community needs. So we have clean and reliable energy, connected and equitable mobility, diverse and circular economy, sustainable water systems, resilient and healthy community, and smart buildings and development. We just closed our first online survey, and we had about 4,000 responses, which is really good, to help address our community's diverse needs for the Sustainability and Climate Action Plan. Here, I just have a few key areas and concerns that community members have shared with me: affordable housing, improving school nutrition, recycling cans in public spaces, and regreening the desert. If you didn't have the chance to complete the survey but would still like to voice your priorities on how you would like to see Clark County lead on climate action, feel free to message me on social media or send me an email. I'm always up for conversation, and I'll drop everything in the chat after. Other ways you can get involved is, so you can start off your new year by taking the climate pledge. on how you're taking action to address climate change. This takes less than 2 minutes. It just gives you different scenarios and you click on the actions you already take and the ones you pledge to take. So for me, I try to reduce my food waste, and I pledge to shop and support local businesses that align with my values. And then to take it a step further, if you'd like, we want to highlight big actions, big and small, that people are proud of. This is an opportunity to help anyone make that climate connection. By celebrating community voices, you can share your story with us, describe one action you take in your life to go all in, or what motivates you to take climate action. You could also upload a video or photo to go along with it for county social media and for it to be in our final plan. My story is that I have a worm composter so that I feed all my food scraps to my worms, and then my worms fertilize my garden. More actions you can include helping neighbors during an emergency or pandemic, volunteering with a local organization, enjoying parks and natural spaces, or reducing water waste at your house. You can stay involved by following the hashtag All in Clark County. That's probably the best way. You can visit the planning website if you want to learn more, but I'm pretty much covered it all here. You can also follow Clark County, Sustain Clark County on these accounts to stay updated on opportunities and events. We do a lot of events to share your thoughts during the planning process. So via social media, via messaging me, whichever you like. Again, I want to thank you guys so much for tuning in today and letting me speak with you all and share this community plan. I'd be happy to connect further with everybody and answer any questions that you guys may have. So thank you.
Thank you. That was very comprehensive. There's a lot of information there, and I'm really impressed. And you had you talked about the survey that we could take, or so we can see how we can pledge to do better. Is that something you can drop in the chat so that?
Yes, I'll drop in the climate pledge and then the climate connection stories. The survey right now, it closed on last Monday, but there will be another one.
Yeah,
but
that would be
if
interesting.
people want to add their concerns, message me and I'll add it to the plan.
That'd be great. And then if I took a picture of your graphic, but if you could put some of the, how to follow you on Twitter and that sort of thing, we usually save the chat and send things out to people. So
yeah, I could send all this information out.
Yeah, that'd be great. Okay, great work. And
thank you.
I met Olivia because her parents were bragging about her at an event I was at. So if you know of other young women, then call us and brag. We want to hear about it. So our last speaker is Kate McLaughlin. And I saw Kate was working with Wendy with Project Maryland, and I wanted to hear more about their collaboration and see how it fit with us. And we just had a great conversation, very like-minded. It's always good to have a fellow co-feminist in the conversation. She shares the same passions that we do, and she works with educating and empowering young girls with her group Girls on the Run. And we look forward to getting to know you and working with you in the future. So thanks, Kate, for taking time.
Absolutely. I'm glad to be here. I do have some slides to share, if I can do that. Okay, so hi, I'm Kate McLaughlin. I'm with Girls on the Run Las Vegas. For me, being here is a real honor and privilege. I grew up with NOW and have always been a very big believer in everything it has worked to accomplish, and it very much shaped who I am. Girls on the Run is an organization that I have been involved with for almost a decade now. I've been in Vegas since 2010 and spent 9.5 years working at 3 Square. So Jody's on here. Jody was the one who hired me over there. And I've done a lot of work with food insecurity in my time there as well. So everything that I was just hearing resonated a great deal. But I joined the staff at Girls on the Run a couple of years ago. And we are an organization that empowers girls in 3rd through 8th grade. And this is an age group that we focus on because it is right before adolescence when self-esteem tends to plummet in girls. And the organization Girls on the Run is a national organization. Technically, it's international because we do have a Canadian chapter. And we were formed 25 years ago nationally, 10 years ago locally. We're actually celebrating our 10th birthday this spring. We have 2 different programs, one for elementary school girls, 3rd through 5th graders, and the other for 6th through 8th grade girls called Heart and Soul. And that's because developmentally, there are different stages. The elementary school girls are much more focused on them collectively, whereas middle schoolers tend to focus much more internally on their own identity and development. So what we do is a program that develops the life skills for girls that help them achieve whatever goals they may have. So these are things like managing emotions or intentional decision making, assuming positive intent, celebrating our differences, celebrating our connectedness and our strengths, standing up for each other. That's what we teach. We're a social emotional learning program. But how we do it is through 2 big goals that the girls work throughout the season to accomplish. So over the course of 10 weeks, volunteer coaches who are heavily trained take the girls through a curriculum. And toward the end of it, they do 2 things. The first is a community service project that the girls design and execute themselves with a little help from the coaches. But the goal there is to let them know that it doesn't matter how old you are or how big you are or how many resources you have. Everybody can help in some way, shape, or form. And it is really amazing to watch the girls do so. They realize that they can make a big difference in someone's life. The other thing we do is train them to complete a 5K. Now, this is a very big deal. If you think about the leg length of most 10-year-olds, that's a really long way to go. Now, we say complete. We don't ask them they don't have to run it. They can walk it. If they're on a walker or in a wheelchair, that's fine too. This is not about how quickly you get to the finish line. It's about the fact that you will get to the finish line, one step at a time, at whatever pace works for you. And what we want to do is not create athletes, but create girls who know they can accomplish big goals, have a support network that allows them to do so, and can go on to accomplish whatever the goals are that they have for themselves. So for example, my own child went through the program 4 times. They are not a runner, not at all. But they have accomplished incredible goals in theater because that's what they love. And that's great because you want these girls to be their best selves, whatever that means. So we work with a very interactive curriculum. Our teams are about 4 or 5 girls per coach, with a maximum of 20 girls on any given team. Most of the teams are about 15. And this past fall, we resumed in-person programming and served 26 teams and about 341 girls. This spring, we're looking at 600 to 650 girls. Now, our program is at anywhere that you can gather a team of 12 to 20 3rd to 8th grade girls, or the equivalent. Because, for example, if a girl is neuroatypical or developmentally challenged in any way, shape, or form and is 15 years old, but is appropriate for a program for 12 years old, that's fine too. So we serve girls everywhere, all over Clark County. at every level of the economic spectrum. About 50% of our girls require us to essentially pay for the program almost entirely or entirely. And we do as many of those changes as we can. It's typically about 50% of our program in any given season. We are very excited that this coming spring, we'll be able to do a lot more than that due to a grant we just received from the Clark County American Rescue Plan funds. So that is a huge help to allow us to serve girls at schools or other sites, boys and girls clubs, rec centers, churches, anywhere, to be able to participate. Additionally, all of the girls who are in the lowest income bracket get a pair of running shoes because very often they don't have anything that's appropriate for running in. So part of the reason that I love Girls on the Run is because of looks like the look on this girl's face. When you're at the 5K, it is amazing to watch these girls cross the finish line. The excitement, the pride that they feel having accomplished that goal is absolutely inspiring. It's made me cry just about every time. But it also makes me go home and go, yeah, that's why I do this. Because all of us here were once 10-year-olds. And at that age, you haven't lost that dream yet, that thought that you can do whatever you want. And we want them to know that they can and that we are giving them the tools they need to do so. So when they start middle school, when they start high school, they're willing to tackle those things that they might not otherwise. And if they get stumped and they go, this is really, really hard, they can look back at the medal that they got when they completed that 5K and go, yeah, but I can do hard things. And what has this pandemic been, if not for one ginormous hard thing for all of us to get through? And I'm sitting here with my mask next to me because my husband in the other room has COVID. So, you know, we've all had to figure out how to do this. And that's what these girls need to learn, is the resilience of how do we get through the challenges to get to where we want to be. So that is what we do. Now, this is something that I love for people to get involved in, because whether you want to inspire girls or you want to be inspired yourself, you're going to do both. We have volunteers who volunteer on every level, I guess I should say, from one-day volunteers at the 5K, which is coming up this spring on May 7th at UNLV, to coaches who volunteer 10 weeks, the whole season, plus a bunch of training, to running buddies who run with the girls at the 5K or walk with the girls at the 5K, depending on the girl, and provide encouragement to them throughout the entire event. All of these things are things you can do. I've done every last one of them, in addition to being a parent and a soulmate, which is a fundraising program, before I joined the staff, because that's the kind of thing that made it magical for me and what inspires me to keep doing this. So that is Girls on the Run. And one of the things that I wanted to say that is why I'm here today is because over the course of the past year, being involved with a lot of other nonprofit organizations during COVID, we have seen an incredible amount of collaboration. And this has always been there, but there's also been a fair amount of competition between nonprofits, in part because people feel like the funding is limited and you have to compete for it. But in truth, the more we collaborate, the more we can accomplish in our community. And so we created Community Corner at the 5K this fall, where we had some nonprofits come out and be able to table. Because at our program, at our 5K, you have girls who need those services to families who can donate and or volunteer. We have a program called Go to Gives Back that we arrange for volunteers from our alumni to go out and participate in volunteer opportunities in the community. And this spring at our 5K, we will be having our first community service activity, and that will be a pack with Project Maryland. Everybody who attends the 5K will be invited to help put together period packs for Project Maryland, because this is something that obviously impacts every single girl once she reaches a certain point in her life, and will continue to affect her for all of the next 4 decades or so. And so we want to make sure that girls understand that this isn't a secret. This isn't something to be ashamed of. It's just one of those things you got to deal with. So that's going to be our community service project at the 5K this spring. I am very, very excited about it. And bear in mind, while we will be working and people will be running, we will also be wearing birthday hats and tutus and running capes. And there will be birthday cake because it's our 10th birthday. And Girls on the Run, we like to have fun. So come on out, get inspired, and whether you are interested in being a part of us or simply taking that inspiration back to your own organization, it is all good as far as we're concerned. So I am happy to answer questions or talk with folks offline if they want to talk more.
Well, I love everything you said. And one of the things I'm going to talk to my board about it, when you and I talked, it'd be fun to sponsor a girl or a couple girls if we can fundraise. It's just a wonderful thing that you're doing. And I think we all need a little inspiration and a little fun. And it would be, and then also to be there to help with the Project Maryland event. We would love to be involved with that. So Kate, I just love everything you are doing. It's just wonderful. I had heard of I think you and I talked about my cousin, Leslie Barnson, has been involved, and I'd heard about what you're doing, and I just never had a chance to meet you, and I'm just really inspired. So thank you. And people are asking when the event is, if you can put some information maybe in the chat that they can look it up and learn more about you. That would be wonderful.
And I will stop sharing so you guys can have this.
Oh, that we can see everyone. Then we can see everyone. So that is great. So we have time if anybody has any questions. I think we've lost that one of them had one of our speakers had to go. But if you maybe want to put your hand up, do you have a question for someone? And otherwise we can. I appreciate, like I say, we've got all the links. We'll be sending information out about all the different organizations. I've been inspired by all this great community work. It's wonderful to meet everyone. And if you hear about people who are doing this type of community, anything, I heard somebody say, I'm not an activist. I say, yes, you are. You're doing community work. That's activism. I think they think it has to be political or controversial. No, it's somebody who's, whether it's paid or volunteer, doing some great work in our community. And we want to learn more about that. So, and I didn't know if I saw Sarah was on. Is Sarah still with us? Sarah, are you there? Oh, hi. You've been elected, Sarah. So you're stuck with us. We held the elections, and Sarah's on our board of directors now. So, and Sue, is there anything you wanted to, talk about that I've missed? That Sue is now my co-executive director, so we're partners now.
We're even more connected at the hip.
If people see us together, I think we're family now.
Yeah, well, as long as, never mind.
You're stuck.
No, I just want to say thank you, Jerry. The speakers were absolutely fabulous. And just to remind everybody, if you enjoyed all these young women, please let us know of others. And I hope all our guests have dropped their information into the chat so we can share it. I thought there were some questions in the chat. I was trying to find them again. I don't know, Eva, if you picked them up.
I know that Iris had one, but I think she got it answered. But Jody would like to make an announcement.
Yeah, and that's what I was going to say.
Yeah.
You know, we kind of go till 5, and then we have some time afterwards if we run late. So one of the things we were saying in the chat was if you're running for office and just a brief introduction. You know, if we get in too big of a habit, you know, our whole we'll have people coming every month, and it'll be all about elections. But we love Jody, and I know we have a couple other people running for office. So Jody, you want to speak?
And a couple I think that are running for re-election also.
Really? Yes.
Do you want to start with Jody?
Sure. Hi,
Jody.
Jody.
Say hi.
Hi, everybody. Hey, I already dropped my information about the campaign in the chat, but I actually just wanted to make an announcement. I specifically really wanted to come on to this meeting with all of these young activists because I want everyone to know for themselves or for other people that you know who really want to get involved in nonprofit and really be part of a community that's doing all the great things I've heard about these women doing, about food rescue, about helping our community and helping to end hunger. 3 Square has several positions that we are actively trying to recruit entry-level jobs for things like helping feed seniors at congregate meals and helping our agency services build better agencies that are part of our network of agencies. And so if it has ever been in your heart that you want to be part of the nonprofit community, 3 Square is just one of the most well-recognized organizations in our community. And I really hope that you'll go to our website at 3square.org and look at how you can be part of our team. We are increasing our salaries for entry-level positions because it's been hard for all of us to recruit amazing talent. And I just can't think of a better place than the National Organization for Women here in Nevada to be saying, our food banks need you, and I hope that some of you will apply. So thank you.
And Jody, what are you running for?
Oh, I am running for office. I put it in the chat. I'm running for Henderson City Council. And here in Henderson, we do have wards, but all of our wards run citywide. So I have the same race as the mayor, and we are really gearing up for an exciting year, and your support would be great if you follow us on social media and share our posts. Talk to people that you know that live in Henderson. It would be my honor to have your support. Thank you.
Thanks, Jody. We love you. We can go through the chat, but I see Ellen Spiegel, and I just want to sing Ellen's praises for a moment. This is not yet an endorsement, Ellen. It's just because I adore you. And she's been helping with some ERA work that we're doing. Nevada, a couple different ways, is filing some different amicus briefs, and Ellen was helping with one and was able to get us some other past legislators who it turns out we couldn't have current ones. We had to get past ones. I made a call to Ellen. She immediately hopped on and got us, I think, maybe 6 people that are now involved with Illinois and Virginia. And so we love you, Ellen, for helping us. We've got to get this ERA over the top here. And so do you want to tell people what you're running for, since I've already told them how wonderful you are?
Thank you. Thank you so much, Jerry. So I'm Ellen, and I'm running for Secretary of State. For those of you who don't know me, I served in the Assembly for 5 terms, and I'm known for legislation that promotes fairness, kind of like I put marriage equality into state law. I got people coverage for pre-existing condition, 2 bills that gets us closer to equal pay for equal work, nursing, workplace dignity for nursing moms, and we need to have fairness in elections. And she has to run citywide, and I think that's horrible. And I've been trying for a decade to get that changed, and we're actually going to have something on the ballot in November to make it easier and fairer for people to run for city council in Henderson. Anyway, I don't want to keep talking. My info's in the chat. Please call me, email, smoke signals. Thanks.
Thanks, Ellen. And anybody who's paying attention knows they're after, and I say they, but after Secretary of State positions, people who don't believe that the vote is legitimate. And I think the Secretary of State position is going to be one of the most important ones around the country that we have. So thank you so much. Claire, Claire Thomas is with us and running for re-election.
Yes, thank you, Claire. Jerry. I appreciate the opportunity. to say I am running for re-election in Assembly District 17 in beautiful North Las Vegas. And I just want to ask for your support. And I did put my information in the chat. Please contact me, go to my website. It's electclairethomas.com, or give me a call. You can text me at 702-290-9327. I would really be honored to have your support. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Claire, and we're honored that you're here today. We see you everywhere. With your broken foot, you've been everywhere. So we hope you're healing up, and you're always in our programs, and we love you. So thank you so much. And I also see Venetia Constantine. She's a longtime Nevada Now member, and I see Venetia's on here too. Or can you hear me, Venetia? I see you're on mute. Yay,
I can hear you, but I'm not somewhere that I want to, that I can really chat without you guys hearing a lot of stuff going on in the background. But thank you for the meeting. I was a little late and I've been listening to it. So thanks. I don't want to keep off mute.
Okay, well, I know you're running for re-election, so that's great. We had endorsed Venetia before, so we'll be looking at re-endorsement soon. So who did I miss so far? Was it?
I think we have Selena.
I was going to say Selena. Yeah, I saw you in the chat.
Awesome. Thanks so much for inviting me. This is my first Now meeting, which is insane to me because I've been a feminist forever and I'm a history teacher and I teach the history of the women's rights movement. And I can't believe this is my first meeting, but definitely not going to be my last. So I'm running for Assembly District 25 up in Reno, Nevada. And I am a teacher and I've spent my life serving my community. I started as a community organizer and I was actually the rural organizer. So I had to like sell a reed in White Pine, if you can imagine how that went. It was not easy. But I decided that if I wanted to change the world, I had to start talking to people before I knocked on their door. And they greeted me with a gun, which happened often. So I became a teacher and I just have been serving in Title I schools my whole career. And I'm running because our education system is broken and we all know it. And I've got 40 kids in every one of my classes and those kids are not getting the attention that they deserve or they need. And I think we saw today we have food insecurity, we have housing crisis, we have a childcare cost issue where so many women are having to drop out of the workforce because they can't afford quality childcare. And so that's why I'm running. And so all of my information is in the chat and I would love to work with you all in the future and perhaps earn your endorsement. And I really appreciate you inviting me to this meeting. Thank you.
Well, thank you, and it's wonderful that you're teaching. Start teaching our young women how important it is to be get the Equal Rights Amendment passed, because we talked to a lot of young women who think they're in the Constitution a long time ago, and it's like never did happen. So.
Yeah, we talk about that, and they are always shocked. They're like, "I'm sorry, what? That's still not a thing."
Yeah, Zoe Nicholson's a big area activist and a dear friend of ours and mine, and she always shows the Constitution and said, "Find me, find me women in here," and people don't realize it. So that's great that you're doing that. And when you said you went to the rurals, that I was at the funeral for Harry Reid, and Rory Reid was talking about going to Ely and how he went into a house, apparently threw into the backyard, and the guy like chased him out. I think he said he had a gun, but he certainly chased him out, and he went back. And I think I went to Ely one time. I found the one liberal in a bar, and I think that's probably where he went.
Yeah, I was Rory's rural organizer, so
I was there. Heard that story.
Yeah,
it wasn't funny, but it reminded me of that. So, thank you so much. It's good to get to know you. We hope to see you more. So. Have we got it? Do we have anyone else who's running for office that we missed?
I don't think so.
Okay. So we'll be, if there's anything else anybody else wants to announce or talk about, we have a couple minutes, but we'll be putting out an email with all the links that we've talked about today, ways that you can help the great activists that you've met today. And we'll be any events they have, we'll put information out so we can I'll be supporting them. That's part of the reason we wanted to meet people who are the community activists in our community up in Reno, and we want to hear more about it. So